It's likely that everyone here is familiar with the incredible stories of kings Saul, David, and Solomon, who were truly unique in ruling the whole territory of Israel before the sorrowful division. These kings brought moments of glory and prosperity to the nation. However, today we are not diving into those inspiring stories. Instead, we will explore the tragic narratives of some of the most troubled kings of the Old Testament, whose reigns serve as cautionary tales for us. After the wise King Solomon's departure, Israel faced a tumultuous transition. Solomon, renowned for his wisdom and grandeur, left behind a kingdom weighed down by taxes and labor demands. Discontent grew among the tribes, exacerbated by social division and governmental policies. This laid the foundation for the succession of Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, and Naamah, who faced the daunting task of managing the people's expectations during this crucial royal transition. One pivotal moment came when Rehoboam met with the representatives of Israel's tribes. This gathering went beyond mere formality. It was a decisive moment that would profoundly shape the destiny of the kingdom. The people's representatives openly expressed the difficulties they faced due to the excessive demands that marked Solomon's reign. The weight of taxes, the burden of forced labor, and growing demands had led to widespread discontent. At this critical junction, Rehoboam faced a vital decision on how to respond to the people's demands. He received divergent advice. On one side, the elders, bearers of wisdom and experience, advised a compassionate approach, urging him to ease the people's burdens and show empathy towards the tribes of Israel. On the other hand, the younger advisors proposed a more authoritarian stance, reinforcing the demands and displaying firmness to impose respect, reflecting a less conciliatory approach, focused on maintaining control and imposing tributes. Faced with these contrasting pieces of advice, Rehoboam chose to follow the suggestion of the younger advisors, adopting an inflexible stance and refusing to ease the burdens imposed during Solomon's reign. This refusal triggered a wave of discontent that quickly turned into a tumultuous sea of dissatisfaction, marking a challenging period in the kingdom's history. The northern tribes, led by Jeroboam, could no longer bear the constant oppression and the king's refusal to listen to their needs. This tumultuous situation resulted in Jeroboam's decision to lead the separation of the northern tribes, giving rise to the northern kingdom, simply known as Israel. Following the kingdom's division, Rehoboam, the king of Judah, decided to assemble an army, seeking to regain control over the newly formed northern kingdom, led by Jeroboam. However, amid this tense situation, divine intervention appeared. God, through a clear message, prohibited the southern tribes from proceeding with military action, instructing them not to enter into conflict with their own brethren. God reminded them that the division was under his total control and occurring according to his sovereign will. The biblical narrative reveals that despite Rehoboam following God's guidance not to invade the northern kingdom, his reign did not escape divine displeasure. God's dissatisfaction with Rehoboam's actions manifested through choices that contradicted divine principles. Rehoboam allowed the persistence of altars and idolatrous cults, promoting an atmosphere of apostasy and a departure from true worship. Additionally, his reign was marked by political instability and conflicts, reflecting an administration that often strayed from paths of justice and equity. As a result of divine displeasure, Judah faced external threats and conflicts, culminating in the emergence of enemies who attacked and plundered the nation. The Bible highlights the Egyptian invasion, led by Shishak, as an event that brought devastation to Jerusalem and the kingdom of Judah. Temples and treasures were plundered, resulting in both material and spiritual losses for the people. The tragic end of Rehoboam's reign also included the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, the central symbol of Jewish worship, marking a dark period in Judah's history. and evidencing the consequences of a government that strayed from divine principles. Turning to another tale of kingship, the reign of Manasseh offers a remarkable journey of downfall, repentance, and redemption over his approximately 55 years as king. Manasseh rose to the throne at the tender age of 12, succeeding his devout father, Hezekiah. Although his reign seemed promising at first, it quickly descended into spiritual decadence. Manasseh reintroduced idolatry in Judah, restored pagan altars, worshipped celestial entities, and erected idols in the temple dedicated to God. His reign was characterized by abominable practices, including pagan rituals, human sacrifices, and the worship of foreign deities. This leadership led Judah far from the God of their ancestors, plunging the nation into spiritual darkness. In 2 Chronicles 33, the Bible mentions that the Lord spoke to Manasseh and his people, but they would not listen. God sent messages and warnings through prophets, instructing Manasseh to abandon his idolatrous practices and return to the Lord's path. Yet, in his persistent apostasy, Manasseh drew upon Judah the wrath of God, resulting in an Assyrian invasion, where Manasseh was captured, imprisoned, humiliated, and confronted with the bitter consequences of his impious choices. Manasseh underwent profound reflection and self-assessment. In his adversity, he came face to face with the righteousness of divine justice, sparking sincere repentance within him. At this moment of weakness and humility, recognizing his transgressions, Manasseh fervently cried out to the God of his forefathers, his plea a reflection of a contrite heart seeking divine mercy. In God's infinite compassion, he heard Manasseh's earnest prayer, and divine response was not only the king's release from captivity, but also his restoration to the throne of Judah. Upon his return, Manasseh embarked on a significant transformation of his rule. He abandoned idolatrous practices, removed pagan idols and altars, restored the altar of the Lord, and encouraged the people to worship the God of Israel. Yet, despite Manasseh's efforts at redemption, the biblical narrative highlights that not all the wrongs committed during his rule could be completely reversed. Some consequences of his actions continued to affect the people of Judah. These stories, woven into the fabric of biblical history, resonate today as solemn reminders and compelling testimonies of the struggles against wayward paths and the profound mercy of God. May the lessons from these kings guide us to reflect on our own lives and remind us to lean on his wisdom and grace.